Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Rebecca Sarah. I had to think about that. I am a doula for God. That means I am in service of God and then to my fellow humans. On earth, this takes the form of being a life doula. And you may ask, what's a life doula? I am someone who helps people to bring balance and harmony and peace into their lives, and I do this in a few ways. I do this by, first and most importantly, helping you to birth your Christ self, bring Christ consciousness into your everyday, and to understand that the way is love and compassion in everything that you do. And I do this with the help of the Holy Mother, the Divine Mother, to help people to birth their Christ selves. And there are lots of us doing this, light workers in all different walks of life, in all different jobs, teachers, carers, emergency service workers, people that work in shops. It really doesn't matter. When you're called to do it, there's really nothing you can do about it. Once you're awake, you're awake. There's no going back. So this is what I do. This is what I realised my role was. And it's been quite challenging, and it's been quite hard to bring all the different parts together, to work through my own process of healing, clearing my karma, realising that my role was to work with the Divine Mother, and how to bring that into the everyday, which is really, really tricky to navigate just life's ups and downs, and going to work, going to shop, dealing with people, dealing with difficult people, dealing with bills, all the time trying to process that you're not who you were and everything is not what you think it is anymore. And essentially just bring those things into balance, to learn how to get your human self and your spiritual self to work together as a team, for you to be able to grow spiritually through your human experiences and the ups and downs, and to use those moments as teachable moments, and to, of course, fully awaken, and for your spiritual self to show your human self what is real, what is authentic, how you should be living your life, where you should be living your life from, which is from the soul and the spirit. I'm not religious. This is not about religion. In fact, religion is what has put me off talking to God for a long time, because I think most people of a certain age, religion has always been, and God has been, a stick to beat people with and to punish them with, and talk down to, and at school assemblies, and if you do this, this will happen to you. And I've never really resonated with the church and the hierarchy of the church and progressing through the church and certain people being more important than other people, when really there's no one more important than God. You don't need any of those people, just go straight to God. The only thing I will say about church is I think probably the most authentic church are community churches, local communities, more than the big establishments. I'll say no more about that. Just to say, this is not a religious channel, but it is about God, and it is about Jesus, and it is about the Mother. So those are the things we will be talking about, and how to really just bring that into your everyday life, because we have got to be here, we have got to live this life, and the idea is to heal your wounds and work through karma so that you can go home when the time is right and not have to come back and do this all over again. You cannot cheat the system. I once, well, on a few occasions, but there was a period where I felt so low that I used to think about taking my own life all the time. Now, I actually never would have done it, because I had a lot of people that relied on me, and I just couldn't do it. I felt too guilty, but at the same time I felt very resentful. I felt that my responsibilities were keeping me trapped here, and I didn't want to be here. I just knew this world wasn't right for me. I was a kind person, compassionate person, a positive person, ironically. And I always managed to bounce back and lift myself up. And then there just came a point where I couldn't do it anymore. And I just looked around and I thought, you know what, I just don't like this. I just don't like this world. And I have a theory that all those people that can't cope with this world, who feel deeply about everything, who take everything really in here, who feel like they're letting people down because they just feel on such a deep level. I do write about this, but I do feel like those people are actually potential light workers, and that is why you feel so deeply, because you know something's not right, but you just think it's you. But it's you in a way. It's your human self living in this world that's just all an illusion. But we will go into that in more detail. It's far too long a conversation to talk about here. What I have done to try and help myself, I think it's to try and help myself, is I have actually been working on, in the last few years, on a course, which I am hoping would be a book one day, and I'm not sure. It's actually turning into 3 books. It's been a bit of a nightmare. It's a joy and a nightmare at the same time. And the first part of the course is acceptance, the second part is transformation, and the third part is co-creation. And it's a step-by-step breaking down of how to step away from your human self. It's for beginners on the spiritual path, mainly because when I decided to see what other options were out there for me, was there another way to look at my problems, because I just knew I had to do something. I have always been interested in spiritual topics, but just, you go and buy a crystal and you light an incense stick, and I think there's definitely been times when I know I've been helped, but I didn't really know how, particularly as a carer for my mum, which I will talk about another time. I'm going to talk about that all here. I just never really went any further than that. And so it got to a point where I just thought, I have to do something. And then I started to look at books and look at videos and online. I just became really overwhelmed by what everyone was saying, and it was just a lot to take in. And I kind of decided to step back and just find my own way through the process. I did buy tarot cards and oracle cards, and I did use those to talk to my guardian angel. I decided that was the first step. I was going to connect to my guardian angel, see if I really did have one. And that just blew my mind when we started to communicate through the cards. And again, I'm going to go through all of that in the course. As you can see, there's a lot to talk about. I'm just trying to go over this really, really quickly. So this is a step-by-step course broken down to really small, manageable steps. The first part is very much, okay, you're living in this world, you've got all these problems, all these anxieties, but it's not really you, and it's not really who you're meant to be. You need to start thinking about life in a different way and changing your perspectives. And it's just a little bit by bit of kind of weaning you off your human self and the illusion. And then introducing the idea of guardian angels and the Holy Mother and the ego. So I do use a lot of everyday exercises, just practical stuff. It's not all woo-woo. There are prayers and there are affirmations, but there's lots of, everyday examples and metaphors and analogies that you can relate to, that you'll understand. kind of move you out of your comfort zone to explore something really new, but still in a kind of safe space. And then as we move along to transformation, we really delve deeper into Christ consciousness and Jesus is the way, healing the wounds, triggers, all of that. And then the last part is co-creation, where you can fly then. You're really going to start exploring who do you want to be now, what do you want to create. You can create anything you want to. Co-creating with God, which is very important. I'm not a big fan of manifesting and say these things 3 times and you'll wake up and you'll be ripped. I really think you've got to do the work because you need to understand what it is you really, really want. Lots of people manifest things and bring things in they don't actually want, or they don't stay, which is the most important thing. And often if you go through the process of healing, you'll actually find that the thing you really absolutely thought you wanted at the beginning no longer is. It's nothing like it was, and that's what happened for me. I started this process because I wanted the boyfriend or the husband and the family and the children and the house. Tick, tick, tick. And I never wanted, the funny thing is I actually never wanted those things, and then I just got hooked into this idea as I got older that, oh, I should, because people would say to you, oh, have you got children? When they first meet you, it's not, oh, hi, or, what do you do? What do you like doing? It's that, have you got children? No. And I thought, God, I should have done this by now. And actually I love kids. I've worked with children for years. It's not that. It's just not been my priority. And I thought there was something wrong with me. I completely forgot where I was going with this. Manifesting, that was where I was going. This may happen a lot. Older lady brain, what can I say? There's just a lot going on in there at the moment. Anyway, I don't want to be a waffler because what I really want to do is do short videos. I'm never going to make long videos because I can't sit through long videos. I can't listen to somebody rambling. I can't listen. I need clear points, clear information, short bite size. So that's what it will all be. And I'm going to try and do it in order of how I learnt it and how I've written it down. I think because it's now turned into 3 books, and sometimes I'll get downloads and information and it's that book and this book, it's just all over the place, but it is actually falling into place and it is beginning to make sense. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not very techie, just so you know. I don't know how to do editing. I don't know how to put flashy things up on the screen, which has caused me a lot of stress because I've been trying and trying, I can't do it. I've had to teach myself how to type on a laptop, how to create diagrams and drawings because there's going to be lots of visuals and lots of pictures because I am a visual learner. If somebody says something to me or tries to explain something to me, whether it's something technical or exercise or anything, my mind completely it's just immediately, what does that look like? I'm trying to see what does that look like if I picture that as an image. So I thought, you know what, there are sections of writing and things to listen to and to read, but there's a lot of visuals, which is why also I think it might cause me a bit of a problem trying to create a book, because that kind of a book with lots of colour, lots of visuals and images is quite expensive to make. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to write it as I go, I'm going to share it, I have some of it done, I'm going to do it the Charles Dickens way, which apparently he used to write and release a chapter every month or something like that to the public and then get their feedback, and then he'd carry on, he would do the whole book that way. And I thought, well, that's a really great way to do it because it's very interactive. I'm going to try and make it as interactive as I can. And I think that's it. So when I start uploading those, they'll be on their own playlist and you can go to those. And what I might do is separate out the exercises and put them in their own little playlist, so you can just go to those if you just want a breathing exercise or a prayer. I also have to remember to look at the camera and not, I just want to look there at my face. There's the cameras. Hey, Karen. It's either do it like this or not do it at all. What can I say? Oh, and the other thing I would like to say, I would love some feedback, because I would like this channel. This is not about making money. I don't really care if people like or subscribe. I think you should share it if someone needs it, but it's just about sharing the message. I don't know how else to share it. I'm not a fan of social media. I didn't grow up in that generation. I didn't grow up with Instagram and selfies, and it's been really hard for me to even get words out of my mouth. I will be reading a lot off of pieces of paper, because often, even though I know things, as soon as this camera goes on, my mind goes blank, so bear with. But the other thing I'd like to do is make this a community. I really want to bring together people that feel lonely, isolated. As a carer once, I was very isolated at home with my mum for 7 years. I was her carer for 7 years, 24/7, no help. She was paralysed after a stroke, had other issues, which I won't talk about. But I got through it, and as I say, I was a very positive person, but it was very lonely at times, and you just think, does anyone out there even know I'm here? Don't cry, Becca. Sorry guys, I didn't know I was going to do that. It just took me by surprise. It's a long time ago now. It's 15 years ago since my mum passed away, and I'm good now. And one of the things I wish I knew that God was with me when I was a carer. Although at the same time, I also know that through this process and all the things I've been through since, it's helped me to come to this decision to help people. So it was all for a purpose, but I can now pass on to carers or anyone feeling isolated for any reason, because maybe they're too scared to go out. All sorts of reasons. How to bring your guardian angel, God, Mother and the Father, bring Jesus into your home, into your life, into your care work, into yourself, so that you're never alone. You are loved and you are held, and how to open up to that. So that's something else. There are many things that I want to talk about, but that is one. And you know, you can see I'm not upset because I was a carer. I wouldn't change that experience, but I just put myself back in my past shoes of how lonely I felt. I loved being with my mum. I loved being with my mum, though. I have to say that, and I wouldn't change it. Like, I was lonely. So, God is a very accessible support network. He is there wherever you are. You don't have to be able to even see, hear or speak or move. He's in here. And I think building intuition as well, that's a really good way to feel your way through this. So yeah, I'm going to stop because I'm going to start waffling on into many different subjects, and my beagle is trying to break her way into the door because she cannot bear to be left out of anything. If you're lucky enough, I might show you her one day. So that's it. So basically that's me. I'm a doula for God, but I'm a life doula here to help you to live your life, to birth your Christ self, to basically the death of the old self, to grieve for that, and to live your life with God in balance, to heal your wounds, to heal your karma, and just to have the kind of level of joy you didn't even know was possible. And it no matter what happens in life, things are going to happen. Life is life. People are people. You know, nothing's going to necessarily go smoothly just because you found God. But what it means is that you will never feel less than anymore. You will never think, this is my fault, what have I done? You will just think, okay, right, well, what do I need to learn from this? How do we deal with this? This is okay, I can get through this. It's fine, I've got God with me. And that's what it does. So that's it, I'm going to end that. And when I can upload the courses, work out how to present them. I don't know whether to read it, print it off, read it, or I don't know. But there you go. That's me. Thank you for watching.